Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Been super busy on the farm and I have a new person I'd like you to meet. This is Jess. Come on Jess, say hi to the camera, say hi. Always wanted to get a dog on the farm and finally we've had enough things in place and we've settled down enough to get her. She's just A1. She's a 8-week-old collie pup. It's a little girl and she's getting settled into life on the farm just great. Let's take a look at what we've been up to this week. We're just doing a morning move with the sheep. And this is a tricky little one, but we'll see how they figure it out. And look at that. Clever sheep. Fresh grass, yummy yummy. Just taking our goats for a walk. We find it easier to walk the goats out to the pasture every morning. Stops them trying to eat the fruit trees. Come on kids. And they're pretty used to walking now. Come on. Come on. There we go. I'm just weighing up feed and I thought I'd show you guys the system we use for feed. So in our grain store here, I'll just step inside and as you can see we've got a automatic door closer, so it just always means the door is closed, so it's pretty easy to open, and then it means as we walk out the door closes so birds, rodents, nothing can get into the store. In this bin here we've got our layer feed, or sorry, our broiler and turkey feed, so it's table bird finisher feed. And in this one here we've got our layer feed. Then in the bins here I keep, this is broiler feed, I keep, there's pig feed in here if we can see, and up on top I've got oats for, or oats and dairy nuts for the goats, and I've got some organic kelp there as well that I give free choice to the sheep. So for weighing up the feed, all our feed sheets are up here. Everything's here for everybody. And I just use a very simple scales. And I tear my bucket and all my buckets are labelled. So this is Chicken Tractor 1. And you know they're getting 3.3 kilos today. So I just take a scoop here. And it's going to be about 1.5. Scoop here. And I just got to tear my scales. So we go up to, probably a full scoop. Nope, a little bit too much. And a little bit out. It's quite difficult to do with two hands, but it's going to be close enough. So that's Chicken Tractor 1 sorted. And then we go along, we weigh up everybody's feed. We stack it up. I've already fed, so I'm getting ready for the next feed. So this is all the egg mobiles. And then I lay up the turkeys, the pigs, and everybody's here. So when it comes to feed time, we just come in here, we grab them and go. And I like to keep the grain store nice and clean. We use the brush here to clean it up. And we also have, there's pest control mouse traps in around the backs that we check as well. They're on a weekly check sheet. And this is our grain store. So extremely simple. And these panels here, as we use the grain up, these panels come down and they get stored up here, and then we label them all so we know that they go back in the right place. And I really like this setup. It's really efficient and fast, and everything's here beside you. Rain, rain, rain. It's nice to have this indoor space to work on, so I can work on projects here while it's raining out there. Isn't that handy? The turkeys are figuring out the roosting game pretty good, and the gobbledygook is actually working a real treat. The windbreak, we had 2 wet days since the turkeys went out, and it just gives them great shelter. They actually climb up in the roosts during the day when it's raining, just because they don't like being out in the wet, and so rather than them all huddling underneath it, they kind of climb up in the roosts and just hang out and wait for the drier spells to go foraging. But it took these turkeys a little bit longer to figure out the gobbledygook than my last couple of batches. It took them about a week and a half to 2 weeks to start actually roosting. The first few nights they were all just sleeping on the ground and underneath it, but now they've got it all figured out. I'm just down at my dad's place. I was just down at the bees. You can see the hives down there. Bees are doing really well. They're bringing in a lot of honey, which is great. And now I'm up here talking to these guys. These are the pigs that I keep down at my dad's farm. And these guys have a much more, it's like hill ground. We're just doing a bit of a project here to see if we can utilize this hill area more. My dad used to just run sheep on it, and there's not much profit in that, but we want to see if we can use the pigs to start regenerating it and also bring some value off that. So we've got all these growths up here, we call them wind bushes. So we're running the pigs through that, gives them cover and protection. And I'm really surprised they're not really impacting the ground too much here. And this is wet ground, and they've been in here now for over 4 weeks, which is a long time. You can see we've got some little puddles there, but that's where they waddle, or they use as a wallow. This one here needs it because she's very much like her mum, who's a landrace. But for the most part, they just root around. They're not doing too much damage. They're doing a nice bit of disturbance, but they're not absolutely wrecking the place, which is great. And they're loving life. Come on, piggies. Come on. Come on, piggies. Come on. This is how you produce the best pork. Happy pigs. These guys are starting to put on weight now. They're not as friendly as my guys, but they're happy out. I'm just on a morning move here, and typically I always forget to record this because I have my head down, go, go, go. But I just moved the eggmobile forward with our dolly, so this guy here, I'm just disconnecting him now, so he hooks on here. I've just lifted the eggmobile off again, and then I've got my winch hook up, but the winch runs off. You can see I was just hooked onto that rope there and I pulled it forward, and very straightforward. Then I just disconnected, tidied up my winch, unhooked it here now, and now I'm going to hook the dolly back onto the quad to take it away back to the polytunnel. But that's how simple my morning moves are. So we were, you can see where the water is. I still have to move the water, but we were over there. So we moved about 40 meters. It takes like 3-4 minutes. And now I just got to get the dolly out of here, get the second fence up. I've already got the fence running along here. Put up the second fence and let the birdies out. And Jess is with me, of course, aren't you? Say hi, Jess. Okay, Jess, we're ready to go. We've got fences up, and we've got feet out, we've got everything ready to go. We just gotta let the ladies out. Very simple. We just turn off the door, which is in here. Hi, girls. Lift up our panel, hit this button twice, and I like to close this up again because they frantically come out here. So close this up and wait for them to come around the corner. Jess, what do you think of them? Here they come. Hey. Come on, Jess. That'll do. Come on in here. Come on, Jess. Good girl. And that's what truly free ranging looks like. Happy birds. Then we gotta get on with the rest of the morning chores, don't we, Jess? Let's rock and roll. for any of you guys that have automated your egg mobile like I have, it's really important to pin down the middle of the fences. Now this bit actually hasn't been grazed by sheep, so there's a chance that the grass can hold the fence up a bit. So what I like to do to be safe, I walk along, tramp the grass down, and then I put one of these in the middle of each, because what could happen is a chicken could find a little hole, come out at night, get closed out of there, and she'd probably hang around here for the night, and if Mr. Foxy comes along, he's going to get her. So as long as the chickens are inside the poultry net, they're safe. I've never lost a bird inside the poultry net. I have lost one or two that have gotten out somehow and I haven't found them, but the next day I find a plum of feathers. So I find it, since I've been going along, putting a pin in between, making sure this fence is just pinned down and there's no obvious holes for the hens to get out. It's not the fox getting in, it's actually the hens getting out that'll create the problem. I've had no issues. Just doing our batches of broilers moves. Now this grass is a bit long for the broilers, but when we move the pen it flattens it down. It means you can move. You can also see we've got a goose in here. I've got this goose so that I can put them into the roller pen. So these guys are going to be going in the roller pens probably on Tuesday, which is 3 days away, and his job's going to be to keep the aerial predators away, the crows mainly. So he's going to be the guard goose. Chickens love fresh pasture, and like I said, I've been keeping them in the Charlton style pens for 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, depending on how many birds are in the roller pen, and then this just gets them to grow up to their nice size. Now this size here, crows aren't going to bother them, so they can move into the roller pens and be safe. This is our broilers, and they're just about to get fed and move forward. So I set up the pen, and then this pen will do them for 2 days. So I moved here yesterday. I'll roll the pens forward now today, so they'll use the other side of the pen. And these guys are getting big. They'll go for processing soon. Well, some of them, there's all different sized birds in this batch, so we'll be taking them whenever they're ready. And now I just got to get the pens moved forward and get them fed. And that's these guys moved forward. I leave them up on the wheels now all the time because it's midsummer. The weather's perfect. If I thought there was a spell of bad weather coming, or in the shoulder seasons, we would move them and then let them down off the wheels again. It's very simple. We've just put a bit of rebar on them, as you can see here, and the wheels just slide straight off. And as you can see, these guys have left their calling card, and they do a nice bit of pasture fertilization. So if I felt they were putting down too much, I would just give them bigger spaces and move along. So I'm kind of judging that as I go, and when I put down a nice layer of good manure on this to give it a good fertilizing, because this lane we're on is typically not the best part of the farm, because we're on a slope actually running down here, and when I came here first, this was actually it wasn't covered in rushes, but it was starting to take off in rushes. So we've got the rushes pushed back, and now I'm trying to kind of just put the final nail on them. You can still see there's maybe the odd bunches of rushes here, so I'm trying to really promote the grass growth to make those rushes feel like they are not required anymore. Just looking at her, here's an apple here. I think this guy's maybe a 3-year-old now, and she's putting on some fruit. I don't know if this will keep or not. It might when it's made it this far. So fruit trees are starting to yield, but now I expect it to be maybe 2 more years before I start to see any yields worth talking about. So the pigs are currently off over there doing their work, and you can see how we cleared all this. And now look at the germination coming. This is absolute ecosystem Kickstarters. Yes, yous are. So all this germination is coming in, and this will start to turn. It'll turn a little bit. The grass is a bit dark in here. I think for grasses to really take off, I might, if I thinned out a couple of these trees, grasses will come in. Like I was saying in a previous video, I'm actually going to put my apiary in here. So I'm not too worried about that. Under the hives I'll want to keep grasses down anyway, but around it grasses, I'll let grasses come. But that's the awesome system pigs do. Ecosystem Kickstarters. We've got the sheep and the goats in here. Just these are all suckers coming up from the roots of these trees here, and I'm closed in here. I'll keep them in here for a couple of days just so they give these a good going over, and then they'll stunt their growth. This guy's become a little farm mascot. This is Hoppy. I accidentally stepped on him when I was feeding him and broke his leg. I feel so bad, but he's kind of become a mascot. He just wanders around the farmyard here now. He can disappear during the day, and then last thing at night he'll just come wandering back. And he's starting to put more and more pressure on his leg, so I think he's going to be okay. He just stays in the polytunnel at night and he's happy out. He's a good little guy, and so probably going to end up being our Christmas turkey. I've also been busy. I've got my Marquee up. We built this pad back last October. I actually had bought the Marquee then too, so this is where all our trainings and tours in the farm will happen out of. It's perfect for here. It's 10 meters by 5 meters, and it means if it's wet or anything, we're dry inside, doesn't get too hot, we can open up any of the sides we want if it gets warm, and it's perfect. And it means we can host groups on the farm. And take a look inside. I haven't really got much done inside yet, but we're just setting up for hosting our training next weekend, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to be hosting our first training on the farm. It's going to be, you know, it's a real long-term goal of mine to set up trainings here on the farm. So it's really, I suppose, feeling of accomplishment that we finally got there. Just got to get this space all kitted out now for training and get ready for next week. Been really busy on the farm for the last few weeks, and with our pasture poultry training coming up, just trying to get ready for all that. So haven't been putting up as many videos as I have been, but any spare chance I get, I make some videos for you guys, and I hope you enjoy them. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you again soon.